What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show.
I mean, I started off, very upset, angry, like, why would someone be doing this? And then I'm a Christian, I definitely leaned on my faith a lot, to be honest with you, during that time. Did a lot of praying. And I just, I got to a point where I'm like, you know what, Lord, I'm turning this over to you. Because there's nothing I can do. You can sue people, but at the end of the day, there is a reason why I had to go through that. There was a lesson that had to be learned, and I kind of just look at it like that. It was a painful one. I'm here to tell you. What I will say, if who's ever listening to this, I'd like to give just a little advice, and this is my advice. If you ever caught in a situation where that happens to you, where somebody or someone or an entity or a group of people are slandering you and, acting in a libelous fashion, don't wait.
Yeah.
That was a problem. I tried to take the high road and throw out the olive branch and be like, hey, why are you doing this? Let's stop. Let's talk about it. And it wasn't working. And it wasn't working. And I waited too long until some damage was done. So my advice to anybody listening is, if you are in that position, pull the trigger immediately. Hire an attorney. Hire an attorney that's capable and understands, especially if you're a public figure, which I am. There's certain things you have to prove, believe it or not. If you're a public figure, there are things you have to prove that other people, and you are a public figure now. Yeah. So understand, Julian, this applies to you. There's things that you have to prove that John Q. Public does not. And it's really crazy. So anyway, and I think your father is an attorney, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I'm sure he can clue you in on it. But anyway, but yeah, anybody listening, just, if you try to handle it as a professional, as an adult, like, hey, look, let's just stop this. And they don't wait. You need to get, in my opinion, you need to get a competent legal team together to handle it. Yes. And,
it's sad that you got to say that.
Is it expensive? Yeah. It's not cheap. Good attorneys are expensive, $500 an hour. But if you're forced into that corner, you're really not going to have a choice. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Well, we got that covered. It's out there. People judge that how you want to do it. But
absolutely,
I'm glad we now at least have that. On
and
the
thank
record.
you, thank you. And by the way, dude,
it's the least I could do.
And by the way, I should have said this in the beginning. This is a badass studio, dude.
Oh, thank you.
This is really cool. I know this is gonna sound kind of weird. I'm very proud of you. I've watched you now for a while grow your business, and I've watched you. You're taking those steps, right? And you've gone from, a small little studio that was about half this size to a beautiful place. I'm not going to say where you live, but
people know it's in Hoboken.
Yeah, okay, but you just took me for a little tour, and you live in a very beautiful area and a very nice home. But yeah, you're doing good, man.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Look, I say it, and I especially got to say it with people like you. It doesn't happen without guys like you coming in and flying in for the day to do what you did, and now you're here again. I mean, I lean on the fact that I get the opportunity in this job to talk to some really cool people who've done some really cool shit. And I'm fortunate that a lot of them are very open about it when they come in here. We spend 3 hours. Sometimes if we do 2 episodes, we spend 6, and they open up, and this doesn't happen without that. But look, I mean, it's cool to see where we're at, because you got to see it towards the end of the last era. There's unfortunately a lot of work to be done here. Obviously, Alessi and me are working 7 days a week these days, but eventually, hopefully, it won't be like that. And there's good little steps along the way so that to have my own place, not in my parents' house like this. And all the people who helped out building this thing for a couple months, it's gratifying, because it doesn't matter what kind of business you have or what you do.
Right.
You are the people that you are lucky enough to be surrounded with. Hopefully, it's lucky to be surrounded with good people, and I'm surrounded by some great people. So
you're passionate too, man. It's very obvious. And I when I coach people, I always say, if you are passionate about what you do, it's not work anymore. You want to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You want to work till 10 o'clock at night. What you do, you love what you do. You're very good at it. So, did
you ever run into a situation where you started to feel like something you loved became work?
Oh, yeah.
How did you get out of that?
So I think I talked about this on my last podcast. Between my Marine Corps career and my Army career, I was a stockbroker. And so, which is something I never even thought about doing, because like I did really shitty in school, but I had a very good tutor. And I thought it was really sexy in the beginning. Like, wow, like a white collar guy, I was a Marine corporal, whoop-de-doo, and now I'm going to be a stockbroker. So I thought it was sexy and cool, and that faded very, very quickly. Even though I was making pretty good money, like 70 grand a year-ish, 75 grand a year for back then in the early 80s, that was pretty freaking good money, and I was in my early 20s. But it became work, because I got to tell you, that job was a grind.
Yeah.
You had to hand dial phone numbers, and you would not be able to leave unless you made 400 calls.
Yeah.
And the branch manager sat at a desk on his machine and could tell you, hey, you got another 50 calls to make. You got another 30. It was a grind. I'll be honest with you, as far as like a mentally exhausting job, that is like right close to what I used to do with the agency. It was exhausting.
You're comparing the two. Wow.
Yeah, dude, because it's a different kind of anxiety, but it was just like because
But you didn't like it.
No, and you got to remember too, man, every month you started over.
Yeah.
Every month you started at zero, and you had a quota. And if you didn't hit it, you got 1 month of like, you're on notice. If you didn't hit your quota next month, you were fired.
So it sounds like, in your example right there, the way you fixed it is you left and you went back to what you know.
Yes.
You went back to something you love. Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder about it though and I guess you didn't run into this. I wonder about it though with things you do love, like when it becomes a little bit of work. Because I'm in that phase a little bit right now. Mm-hmm. This is the fun part when I get to sit with people. The process to even getting to this part though has gotten so tedious.
Sure.
And I'm over it. I mean, Alessia, how many frames am I going to fuck before this is, I don't have to edit anymore. You know what I mean? And he gets it. I mean, he works his ass off with me now too.
Oh, I'm sure.
He gets it. But it gets tough sometimes.
People don't understand. It's like what I used to do for a living. Everybody thinks it's bang, bang, shoot 'em up. Dude, that was the last 2 seconds of what I used to do. What people don't see is all the work from case officers and intel people did for it could be years to lead you to someone, just like what you guys do, just like the show I was on. If I'm not mistaken, I remember them telling me it took 40 hours of actual video for a 40-minute show.
Crazy.
Think about all the editing.
Oh my
That's
God.
the grind. That's the grind.
Those guys are amazing. The people who do that stuff, unbelievable.
That's the grind. Doing this is great. This is fun. We're having a good time and talking, but it's the back end stuff that'll just kill you. I mean, as a broker, that became work after a while. I just didn't enjoy it anymore. Right. I do like teaching, obviously with my company, I like to teach, firearms training and tactics and stuff like that. Sometimes, depending on who my students are, it becomes work. For example, I taught a class not long ago. There was 10 people in the class, and there was one guy who self-admittedly had never shot a pistol, but like maybe 10 times. And I like training guys like that. They have no bad habits. But this guy was so scared. He was visibly shaking, shooting. I'm like, dude, relax. Like I had to concentrate on him so much just from a safety standpoint. He wasn't flagging people and keeping his finger off the trigger. It became work. It wasn't fun anymore. I couldn't keep the momentum of the class going because this guy, now I put him all the way on the end, but that's when it becomes work. Like, man, if this guy wasn't here, we could have done so much more, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's vitally important, for anyone that's listening. If you've got a career, doesn't matter what it is, but you're passionate about it, you got the world by the short hairs, man.
Yeah.
Because you want to wake up
You're
early.
lucky.
Yeah, dude, that's hard to find. Yeah. Dude, it's not easy. I mean, even when I was doing what I was doing with the agency, like, I was passionate about the job, and it was a job. understand, but I was very passionate about it. And when you're passionate, you can perform at very high levels, right? And there they needed you to perform at very high levels. You couldn't, like, mediocrity there wasn't happening, dude. Like, you needed to shine. And I think I even mentioned on the last one, like that, when I was doing my interview, this guy, Ron, he goes, do you think you're a good operator? I'm like, yeah, I think I'm, pretty good. And he's like, we don't need good. And that kind of blew me away. Like, wow. Okay. I don't know what else to say, but, but I think passion for a career, and what you do is, like, I think that's what separates the rock stars from the groupies, man. People that make a little bit of money compared to people who are ultra successful. And bro, I don't judge or measure a person by the size of their wallet. Like, I know a lot of wealthy people that I wouldn't trade their life with mine for all the gold in Fort Knox. You know what I mean? They may have a lot of money, but they've got highly dysfunctional families and blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on.
Yep.
But
hey guys, if you have a second, please be sure to share this episode around on social media and with your friends, whether it's Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter. It's all a huge help. It gets new eyeballs on the show, and it allows us to grow and survive. So thank you to all of you who have already been doing that, and thank you to all of you who are going to do so now.
I think those that are out there that are passionate about their work, there is a huge intrinsic value for that. I know a lot of people make a lot of money. Matter of fact, I have a friend of mine. He owns his own company. I've never asked him how much he makes, but if I were to guess, he probably makes $4 to $6 million a year in his pocket.
That'll do.
In his pocket.
That'll do.
Miserable. Guy hasn't been on a vacation in 10
That's the
years.
problem. That's the problem, man. What's the trade-off there? No good.
No good at all. And he doesn't eat right. I mean, he doesn't exercise. And he's got all. I'm like, dude, why don't you hire a trainer and a cook? I mean, he's got money. Hire a cook. Go to the gym. Hire a personal trainer. No, he won't take a vacation. You know why he won't take a vacation? Oh man, they'll rob me blind here. I'm like, are you telling me you can't hire one person, pay them a really nice salary so you can get away and go enjoy your life? You're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that was something in my last career. Working on Wall Street, we worked in the private bank, so we dealt with the big time money people, and there were some people who did it right and who lived happy. I don't want to be all negative here.
Right.
There were some clients who were very wealthy who, I don't want to say they were carefree, but a couple of them were, and they had good families, great lives, good balance, good everything, great perspective. But I got a chance to learn not just from them, but the many people who were not like that.
Right.
And I will tell you, the phrase "mo money, mo problems" is very true. And it doesn't sound as good, but I would add in "mo money, mo invented problems." People get more money, they invent issues for themselves. They invent struggles that don't need to be there. They let money get in the middle of family. They let money get in the middle of friends. They let money get in the middle of it drives everything they do. And one of the things that I think was awesome about me having that job was that I, at a young age, coming out of college, when you're unbelievably impressionable, I got to see that. Before I never had a chance to make money in my career, right? So I still, to this day, because any money we've made here has gone back into this place.
Sure.
I still have never had money in my pocket, but if I'm successful, I know that's going to be a point where I do. I have a lot of thoughts about how to not change.
Right.
And I don't know, but I don't know if I would have had that if I hadn't got to see it up close like that. And so, you're talking about a friend right there. That's someone you get to see up close a bit. It's a good example for all of us.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I'm not rich. I live comfortably. I've made some really good money in my past, and I've lost money in my past through bad investments. And 100% my fault. Didn't do the proper due diligence. Took a risk where maybe if I had $1 in the bank, I put 80 cents of it in something, which was right, and it went kaput. And so, I would caution people. I mean, again, I'm talking about this, but money is very easy to lose.
Yes.
And very difficult to make.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.